This is a Hot Pie Media original.
I think this might be a 6 minutes of football, of which I would say there are two parts, two pretty important parts. One, for the football nerds, I can offer you a very simple and straightforward strategic answer. There is a strategic answer. I will remove all feelings that anyone would have and say, I can give you a strategic answer. Put that aside, the strategic answer part of this. The other part is, think for most of us who were watching on Saturday, starting in the morning, ended like it, game started at 11 something, ended at like 8 p.m. Think how many times you said, are you kidding me? Let me set it up this way. I know a lot about football. I've been around the game for a long time. I know how things work. I'm a big believer in law of averages. I'm a big believer in the football science. I think I know the science of football. But here's what I thought that I knew. I thought for certain, as I sat there taking it all in, many of the things that I thought that I knew were blown up. For example, if you pass for 180 yards in a quarter, you win. If you score 28 points in a quarter, you win. If you score 38 in one half, you always win. If you're ahead by 18 points with a little over a quarter left in the game, I think to be specific, about 17 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. If you're ahead by 18 points, you probably should win. If your opponent yanks their starting quarterback and puts in a true freshman that has played very little at all, that's usually an indicator that things are going badly and you win. But Texas lost. They lost because all of those things that I said, all of those things that you should win, that's all the football science. That is not debatable. That is not a gray area. All those things happen. You win. Well, no, they lost. And that's really, really hard to do. In fact, in my world, this is a foreign game. I'm watching the Texas-Oklahoma game, and you know what I felt like? I don't know much about Irish curling. I felt like I was watching Irish curling. That's a game I don't know. I don't know what that game is about. I'm not even sure how they keep score. That's how foreign that game is to somebody who knows something about football, because everything about it went wrong. It can't be. That can't happen. No way. So, I would say almost impossible. Out of games with a similar scoreline. The similar scorelines that I just gave you. By the way, at the end of quarter number one, I looked it up. There was a 95.4% chance that Texas would win. So I'm not exactly coming at this in a weird statistical way. I think it's pretty obvious. But out of games with a similar scoreline, the record is something like 262-2. You know how you do stuff like that? You know how you lose, be one of these unbelievable, shockingly bad outliers? You know how you do it? I'll tell you one way, because there are several ways. Watching curling. That's what that was for me on Saturday. That's curling. Wait, is curling with the sticks on the field, or is curling the thing on ice? I don't even know that. That's how foreign that game was to me. Here's one way you do stuff like that. When your team is hanging on for dear life and things are kind of getting away from them pretty quickly, but you're still winning and time is running out and you're trying to make sure you just get to the finish line, you just get to the bell. You know, one of the things when your team is doing that, you know, one thing you shouldn't do? You shouldn't try to bring the ball out of the back of the end zone and get blown up and fumble. That's what you shouldn't do. Ever. That's just dumb. That's shockingly dumb. On both sides on Saturday while watching curling, I can tell you this. Now, you may think, and fans may think it's fun to watch. You may have 7 hours out of your day to kill. You may like curling. I don't like curling. I don't know enough about it. Maybe if I learn more about curling, I'll start to like curling more. But right now, I just don't like curling very much. I don't understand it. So I just kind of want to watch my game. Maybe many of you really enjoy curling. Curling takes too long from what I can tell. I mean, 7 hours. Oof. But it may be fun to watch. That is some of the worst defense. I don't even know why I'm saying some. But that's some of the worst defense on both sides. You'll see this side of a flag game in West Austin on a Saturday morning. That's what that is. That's flag football. Oklahoma's defense is shockingly bad. Texas is worse. How bad? Come on, Jeff. How bad? Well, I'll tell you how bad. While I'm watching curling, there's this one amazing moment in the curling game, contest, match, whatever you call curling. With 11 seconds left in the game, see, this is when I thought, I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like this before. This is not the game I grew up around. This is not what I used to watch standing on the sidelines every Sunday. This is not what I see. 11 seconds are left in the game. The ball is at the Texas 33. Usually, in the world that's not curling, in the world of football, usually a team will either try a field goal of 50 yards or run a quick pass to try to get some yardage to put their field goal kicker in a better position. Someone who's not a football expert, that doesn't have to be a football nerd, you probably could say that too. I'm not exactly pretending to be the expert in this commentary. Well, I am, but anyone can figure this out. So there's 11 seconds left, and you're on your opponent's 33, which is a shocking thing by itself. That's what you do. You either try to kick the field goal or you try to get a better position to kick the field goal to win the game. A shocking win. That's what you do. Well, no. This is when curling started to happen again. This is when I thought, what's that? Why is that guy running with the ball right now? Why is that guy running down the field like he's naked? Why does that game I'm watching? How does that happen? Oklahoma ran, not to nerd out on you, what's called a counterplay. I believe they ran that exact same play twice, and you know what happened? Both times looked like flag game on Saturday when the other kids can't tackle the one kid or they can't get his flag. Both times to the house. Not, ooh, that's a 6-yard gain. That's a 7-yard gain. Ooh, that's tough run. To the house, untouched. That play has been around. Lombardi would draw that up on the chalkboard. That's how long that play has been around. It is a counter play. Very simple, very old school. Don't let anyone tell you it's real complicated stuff. That guy shoves that guy. You go that way. That's it. It's the kind of play you run on 2nd and 6, 2nd and 8, 1st and 10. It's that kind of play. It's not the play you run on your opponent's 33 with 11 seconds left. No way, no how, never. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce in all 50 states, now in several retail outlets as well. So we're going to turn it over to the social media rock chef superstar, and we're going to walk through a few sauces and why you should buy. We've done beet heat, so we're second in line now for the tasting. Don't forget, everyone, go to atxhotsauce.com. So here we go.
All right, so this one is our smoked habanero 5-pepper. We smoke habaneros with ancho, pasilla.
Is that going to hurt?
This one? No,
Yeah.
This one's actually really, really good.
Okay.
This is like your traditional tapatilla, but without the vinegar in it, right? And because of that fermentation process that we've talked about all the time. This one is great on sandwiches, pizzas, things like that. Great on hot wings. I think you're going to really like this one too, especially the smoky flavor with the adobe chipotle and the smoked habaneros. We actually smoked the habaneros before we.
Does that go with the cab?
This would not go with the cab. This would go with the great Chenin Blanc, though.
I teed you up with that one.
Yeah.
That is good.
That's good. Isn't that good? It's just classic take. Well, it's a new take on a classic item. So it's called smoked habanero 5-pepper.
All right, don't forget
One of my favorites.
Don't forget atxhotsauce.com. And then it worked. It didn't work for 5. It didn't work to get in better field goal range. It worked to the house untouched. I've never seen that game. That's curling. You can't flail, and I mean flail, and miss tackles and let a guy stroll. And I mean, he was strolling. I would love to have little bubbles pop up over his head as he's running with the ball, because I think those bubbles would be saying, wow, no one's touching me. Wow, there's not anyone near me. Wow, they aren't going to tackle me. Here I go. I'm going to think I'm going to run a little bit faster now. That little bubbles above his head the whole way going, my gosh, those 11 guys in the other shirts can't get near me. I guess I'll score. Game over. I mean, he trotted. He's faster than 33 yards in 10 seconds. But he was strolling along thinking, I need to get those. Well, I guess I'll just keep going. Coach, should I keep running? Okay, I'll just keep going. I go run to that pylon down there now because no one's going to touch me. That's what that was. It was a stroll. My reaction was, I can't believe what I've witnessed. One team ran the ball with 11 seconds left, and it didn't just work. It worked to the house. Multiple missed tackles, terrible, shockingly terrible angles. You know what's really important in a football game? To not let the other team score a touchdown in the last 11 seconds by running the ball. Like, I don't care if you have to lie down on the ground and just find somebody to trip. The one thing you can't let happen is the guy run all the way down the field. I don't care if you have to have a switchblade on you. You don't let the guy run down the field and score. That's what you can't have happen. If you get beat on a field goal, you're pissed about it, that's life. But you cannot let somebody with 11 seconds left in a game have a running play go to the house. That can't happen. They look like they were on ice skates. It looked like the guys in the orange shirts were all on ice skates being shoved backwards. That's how bad that was. 55-48. Now, the strategic part for the nerds. So everything I just said that can't happen, that did, all the terrible things. Here's the strategic answer to how and why that happened. It happened because Lincoln Riley, who yanked his quarterback, and Oklahoma's been a mess. They're a complicated team that just can't find itself. They can't figure things out, but they do keep winning. And they did it again. And I'll say the guy had some stones. But while people think, well, he yanked the quarterback and he's invited himself to be in a political controversy, and now this quarterback, his starting quarterback's going to flip out, and all, he didn't think of those things. You know what he thought of? And this is what he did strategically. And Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of Texas, who had to watch his team embarrass themselves in the second half, and certainly in the final 11 seconds, but even Steve Sarkisian has admitted this. What Lincoln Riley did and Oklahoma did was they said, you know what? You know what that Texas team can't do? They can't stop anybody running right at them. Let's just do that. Now, it'd be hard to do because you seem to be running out of time. Logic would tell you, in normal football terms, in normal defensive football terms, logic would tell you, we got to catch up in a hurry. But to the guy's credit, he said, no. And I'm going to simplify this, but here's what they did. They probably even mentioned this. Sat around, game got away from them, everything went wrong. Hey, remember we watched that video of Arkansas playing Texas? Remember when we watched that video of Arkansas just turn around and run the ball right at them and it worked every time? Remember they got demolished by a team that just played the straight ahead counter football? You know what? Let's just go do that. And I'm sure somebody said, yeah, I know, but we don't have enough time. I mean, we're going to run the ball and we're not going to be able to catch up. Yeah, let's try it. And they did. That's what they did strategically. They flipped the script. Now, this is all football is. Don't ever let any coach tell you it's very complicated. It's matchups. It's 11 on 11 matchups, one-on-one everywhere on the field. Well, Texas, to nerd out for a second, I think I said this when I was on a few weeks ago on a radio show after Texas got blown out by Arkansas. Somebody asked me, well, what do you think? I said, I think the same thing. They're not built for this game. They can't play this game. They're not built. They don't have the capability. They don't have the whatever fitness. They don't have the strength. They don't have the straight ahead north-south football capability to stop somebody that plays like Arkansas. If you don't play like Arkansas, they'll be in a good game with you. Oklahoma turned and flipped the script and played like Arkansas, and it worked perfectly. Game over. Ran right at them. Not a problem. Just go as direct as possible, and they can't do anything about it. Watch both games if you have no life. Tell me I'm wrong. I think both coaches have all but said it. They've hinted at it. They didn't come out directly and say, yeah, you know what they did? I mean, Steve Sarkisian kind of said it, but I'll fill in the blank for him. Yeah, you know what they did? They kicked our ass because they just went right at us. We can't do anything about that. We don't know how to play that. We're not built for that. That, football fans, strategically, if you're looking for some real strategic takeaway, it is as simple as that. Okay? Now, what does that mean going forward if you want to be a face painter, if you want to be a Texas face painter, an Oklahoma face painter? Oklahoma probably has a loss in them because they're kind of a mess, and when you suck on defense, you're on borrowed time. That's the rule of football that I know. When you suck on defense, you're on borrowed time. You're going to lose. Every game can't go your way 55-48. It's almost happened to him a couple of times. So there's a loss there. But I don't, Steve Sarkisian said after the game, he said, hey, we look forward to seeing them again in December. Initial reaction is, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You can say that now? I don't think he's that far off. I don't think that's an outlandish thing to say. In that moment, it feels outlandish. I probably wouldn't recommend going there at that time. But if he said it Thursday of this week, I would again say, yeah, he may not be off. Because if they play a bunch of flag football teams, okay, if they're a flag football team and they play other flag football teams, he might be right.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's the Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.